Hey guys, welcome back to the Daily 5, and in today's episode we're going to cover subscription models and how they are way more beneficial than your one-off purchases. So with my experience in my previous business in the online coffee store, I was selling cold brew coffee online. That's how I started out. And so our average sale was around $30. And at the time I was running only Instagram swipe up story ads because they were so cheap and the best value really. What we found was that once we got the conversion on Instagram, we were following them up with an EDM, which did convert as well. But more so, we saw that people just kept seeing that same, or they always switched up, but they were seeing the ads and swiping up. So our long-term value for the client was around $90. So they'd either see the ad twice and then convert once on the EDM, and that would sort of work out to around $90 across the board on average. Now keep in mind guys that I was only servicing Southeast Queensland, which is a 100-kilometer radius, because we'd be doing home deliveries. And back in the day, three years ago, it was completely new to the industry, and no one was really taking care of the home services. So that was my sort of niche into that market at the time. And cold brew was relatively new as well. So what I said to myself was, I think I was listening to a podcast. And on there, they were talking about the subscription model and how much more beneficial it is to a business than it is to have these one-off purchases. And I thought to myself, well, if I can somehow get these guys that are swiping up and loving the product on a subscription model, which is sort of a set and forget process, like signing up to a Spotify and iTunes, and you sort of just have your coffee show up every month or fortnight, whatever sort of your standard cycle would be, and set and forget. And it was amazing. But as always, you'd have churn. Now what churn is basically the average time that a customer will stay with you across the span of however many months. So for our cold brew service alone, we found that our churn was on average around 10 months of the year, and a drop off into the winter period of times because it was such a heavily summer focused product. And here in Australia, it gets so hot for most of the year. So I went from going to $90 for my long-term value per customer, and over that 10-month increase of churn, I was able to get the long-term value of that same customer out of $300 with no extra cost on ads, no EDM sent, no nothing. So if you were to give me a vehicle or say, how can I better increase my product per se at the moment, long-term value, a subscription model is definitely a thing to consider. Now, I understand this won't be for everyone, but it can definitely be based in the services business and in most of the products, especially if you're down that sort of regularly used and replenished basis. So that's how I was able to get a 300% on average increase in my business just by switching up the business model. Now, keep in mind, we also still had the one-off purchases, and then those EDMs that would follow up from the one-off purchases would be, it went along the lines of like, hey, if you love this service and you love the product, this is what we actually do as well, and we offer this subscription value. And the conversion for that was around 30%. I think it was about 26 or 30% from the top of my head. But I thought I'd share that with you guys today and see if it is something applicable for your current businesses, or if it's something you're wanting to get into, thinking about getting into business. That might be something that you can sort of take into consideration as well. I know myself, I've just built with my partner a online service-based business within the social media management industry, and we have incorporated this subscription model, which is, from what we've found here in Australia anyway, one of the first of its kind, and we've found that it's had an amazing response. So you never know, look into it, and hopefully you guys get the same results too. Have a great day, guys, and stay tuned for the next one.